I'd say I'm a fairly patient person, all things considered. I'm a video editor, I have a guinea pig. He's just sitting at the other side of the fucking couch. But as I've gotten older, one activity drains my patience more than anything I could ever imagine. That being completing games. This is something I used to do religiously from when I was a kid to honestly pretty recently. My working theory, and y'all can make fun of me for this, was a result of the YouTubers I grew up watching. When it came to Let's Plays or old game reviews, it was the standard to show off everything a game had to offer, like getting all 120 stars in Mario 64 or all the gems in Crash 2. You couldn't just do the bare minimum and call it a day. No, it was all or nothing. So if you could imagine, that was pretty enticing for a stupid, impressionable child. And for years, I had this weird fixation to get everything in a game. And there's nothing bad with being a completionist. If I'm playing a game that grabs me right out of the gate, I will go out of my way to explore, experiment, and just collect stuff. Metroidvanias are a great example. The first time I played Hollow Knight, I went after as many of the mass shards and grubs as possible. They're so cute. But then some dumb shit comes out of nowhere and makes completing it really, really annoying. Hollow Knight's a bad example, cause that shit's boring as hell. A recent example I can think of is Kirby in the Forgotten Land. One of your main goals is rescuing Waddle Dees, either by finishing a stage normally or doing specific tasks within them. And on my first playthrough, I was really invested in getting as many of these little shits as possible, especially since you unlock more stuff in Waddle Dee Town the more you have. But some of these tasks would get really stupid. Like how about the ones for boss battles, where you have to beat them within a time limit, use a specific ability, or without taking damage at all? I'm sorry, I thought I was playing Kirby, not Dark Souls. I can't do this to myself anymore. And it's not because of time or being an adult and all that crap. No, I literally do not have the patience. I'm sure if I was a kid playing this, I'd spend hours studying their attack patterns and stuff. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm 37. To be honest, I'm not sure how I managed to complete a lot of games growing up. Banjo-Kazooie, Star Fox, Assault. Anytime I come back to them, I'll try and get a bunch of shit, but just get burnt out. There are only like 2 games I feel morally obligated to 100%. That being Majora's Mask and Refunked. Majora's Mask cause, it's one of the best games ever, but you can't truly appreciate it unless you finish like 85% of it. Because the game is driven by its characters and story, you need to feel invested in its world by collecting masks, finishing side quests, and just interacting with it. I feel Majora is a game that gets better on repeated playthroughs. I know so many people who didn't like it their first time around, but that was only cause they went straight to the dungeons and didn't do anything else. You're doing yourself a massive disservice by not getting at least like 2/3 of the masks. I think that's fair. Refunked, on the other hand, takes like 2 minutes to beat, and 100%ing it adds like 3 more at most. So it's a why the hell not type of thing, you know?
Oh, for fuck's sake, goddamn.
When we're talking about completing games, there's one thing that matters more than any of the shit I was just talking about. The reward. I don't think it's selfish to say, if you're gonna 100% a game, it better give you something for your troubles. Because it's more than just beating the final boss, you know? You're going above the status quo, either by collecting a bunch of shit or doing as many rando tasks as possible. I got my standards from 3D Mario, as they've had a pretty good track record for completion bonuses. So if you could imagine, I felt a little betrayed when I learned Odyssey has the worst completion bonus, literally of all time. You spend the game collecting 18 trillion moons, and you muster through all that crap barely holding on for dear life, and what do you get? A fucking top hat on Peach's castle. I'm not exaggerating when I say this game burned me from completing a game ever again. Unless it's Majora's Mask or Refunked, of course. And I wasn't even expecting anything crazy, because Odyssey is already a huge game. But you don't unlock a new character, a final stage, a secret ending, anything. I feel with how big games are getting nowadays, it doesn't feel like they're made with completion in mind. At most, the reward is an afterthought, because they already filled the base game with millions of things to waste your time on. Like, I never even finished Tears of the Kingdom. I was so hell-bent on finding all the shrines and exploring the chasms that once I beat the dungeons, I was just exhausted. Granted, this could have also had to do with the pace I took the game at, or which objectives I prioritized over others. And you could argue too that some games aren't meant to be completed. But if you're gonna put a huge emphasis on collecting shit or exploration, like Tears Tears of the Kingdom, or like Mario Odyssey, there should be a little something something for the poor bastard that wants to complete it. With all that said, here's my guide to completing games in the year 2024. My advice is to never complete a game out of obligation, or if it's just genuinely not fun to do. So many games I love can be the worst thing ever to 100%, and I accept that and enjoy it on my own terms. You should really only do it if it hooks you from the very start and the game isn't overly tedious or annoying to complete. And I know a lot of people are completionists by nature, but just don't subject yourself to something that sucks ass for a little trinket or doodad that says, ooh, I got everything in this stupid game, right? Ooh, yes, quite right. If you want to complete a game, that's fine. If you want to beat the final boss and call it a day, that's fine. If you don't even want to play the game, that's fine. Unless you're purposefully being an idiot, there's no wrong way to play a game. Just enjoy it while you can. You never know when you're gonna die.